Good morning, children. How are you all? Hope you are all doing good. Children, today's session we are going to see in the subject of history, unit 2 as part 2. Okay. Before moving to the main lesson, the continuation of that lesson, I want to recall some points to you what that you have learned in last class. Okay, children, that in that last class that you have learned about what introduction. In that introduction, how the Britishers were entered into India through in what are all the technologies they have used. That means geographical discoveries give a help hand to them, and afterwards the establishment of political power by the English East India Company is done. How they have got the success. The success is through by the Battle of Plassey, and afterward as a name of battle. Okay, the battle were played by them in a town of Bengal. That means in a state of Bengal, especially in a town of Plassey, against along with Nawab and whom? Nawab and the Britishers. Okay, this regarding that you have learned in last class, and afterwards that is no. You know about the battles under British rulers through by the map. What are all the states that have Britishers occupied? Bihar, Bengal, okay, Mysore, Karnataka. The states were occupied by the Britishers. Okay, so far they have undertook the battles a lot along with the native rulers and children. And next, that main concept that you have learned in last class about Battle of Boxer. Okay, this Battle of Boxer along with the Britishers as against to the Nawab of Bengal, especially Mir Jafar and Mir Kazim. Okay, yes, and the next and others Nizams were also suffered as lot because of the Britishers' dominant rule, such as Shujauddaulah, Shah Alam, Mir Kazim, etc. Okay, the cruel military general of the side of British is Hector Munro. Okay, yes, children, and this is a slide of Battle of Boxer. Okay, yes, this is a last slide what that we have learned in the last class. Okay, yes, now from here I'm going to start your second part of the session. Yes, children, see here, Carnatic War which is took place in between of the Indian rulers, British and French East India Company as side by side during the period of 18th century. And you had known about that last session itself about the traditionally Britain and France were the rival countries. Rival country means they are competitive states. The countries belong to the countries who want to prove themselves that they are supremacy in their political rule. Okay, yes, as for that they have done their rival, they have gave the origin to their rival in their native itself. Native means their own continent is belong to European continent. As following to that, their rival were spread over in their territories also. Territories means what? The place which are all occupied by the another one country. That is imperialized system. They have occupied the country of India. Okay, so for that the military conflicts were followed as a serious one, seriously mean a continuous one, a chain of war of the Britain and France were followed, give a continuation through in India also, that especially in a side of south is known as Carnatic War. Okay, children, yes, see now we are going to see about that first Carnatic War. First Carnatic War, it took place along with the same the foreigners. The foreigners, who are they? The foreigners are known as the French, Britishers. They are against to whom? They are French and the Britishers were fought together to be won the territories of the native rulers of India. Here the Nawabs and the kings were the opposition side of the foreigners. Okay, children, yes, now see the outbreak of Austrian War of Succession in Europe, the English. Here the result of Austrian War. Austrian War, you have to know as first. Austrian War means what? That is the treaty, the War of the Austrian Succession fought between 1740 to 1748. 8 years the Austrian War took places in between the rival countries, okay, that is Britishers and French in Austria, in the continent of Austria. It is involved most of the great power and the less powers of Europe over the issue of Maria Theresa. Maria Theresa, she wanted to success to the Habsburg monarchy throne. So far as against to, she is doing a war against to Frederick II in a continent of Australia. At there, these two persons, these two characters, one of the character is known as Maria Theresa and another his against character is known as Habsburg monarch. Okay, now if we just going to the international level history, children, for to be known about what the meaning of Austrian War. Okay, so as behalf of this war, here the Britishers and French were given a help hand to whom? Help hand to these two persons. One is Habsburg, that is no. One is Maria Theresa and another one is Frederick II. They are got help from the Frederick II is helped by, that means supported by the French forces, and the same way Maria Theresa is got the support from the side of Britishers side. Okay, so as following this rivalry, they have shown their anger in the side of India also. Who shown the anger? The French and the Britishers were shown their anger. Okay, the Austrian War of Succession in Europe in the English. So as the Britishers supported to the Maria Theresa, no, that forces is won. On seeing of that forces, the Frenchers wanted to take revenge so far that they have done against in India. Okay, children. Yes, so the Carnatic War is took over by the two parties. One is on the side of Britishers side and another one side of French side, who were all supported here to the native rulers. Okay, yes. Their rivalry is not only followed in their own continent, it too followed in their occupied continent also. In Asia, especially in India country, the rivals of French and Britishers were shown their real color. Okay, yes. The French were and opposite camps increased the hostility between these two forces. Here, hostility means what? It means a strong feeling against somebody. The French wanted to show a strong feeling against somebody, means whom? Against to the forces of Britishers and the forces who they have against to the native ruler is called as two forces. So the echo of this war was felt in India. As the Austrian War, revenge is taken over by the French in India too, as upon on the Britishers. Okay, yes. See, this is a small definition regarding the Austrian War. And as following to that revenge, here the Carnatic War is fought in between of this European rivals along with the natives of Nawab to occupy the territories of Indian rulers. Here the foreigners created war, a battle upon to the native rulers. Native rulers means we can say as a Nawab of North India. Okay, see here now that Carnatic War, especially the war which is took place in the side of Indian southern states, is known as Carnatic War here. Okay, yes. See, the Carnatic War was it is classified as three wars. One is first Carnatic War, second Carnatic War, and third Carnatic War. These three stages of war were fought through by the foreigners and the native rulers of India. See that the period of first Carnatic War. The period of first Carnatic War is 1746-1748. The second Carnatic War took place 1749-1754. The third Carnatic War took places in 1756 to 1763. Okay, children, and see here, you just take the note of this flow chart, children, which is given an idea regarding what? Regarding a period of Carnatic War. Okay, which one is played and which year. See, Next we are going to see about the Battle of Adayar. Battle of Adayar is also known as a name of Battle of Santom. Okay, or otherwise we can say it is a Battle of Mylapore. A definition regarding the Battle of Santom. The Battle of Adayar or Battle of Santom took part in the year, in which year? 24 October 1746. This battle was fought in between the French East India Company men means here soldiers, under the Nawab of Arcot, where the forces over the St. George Fort, which was held by French. Okay, yes, this was the forces, the French forces and the forces of Anwaruddin, because this is a Nawab. He is a Nawab of Arcot, the Nawab of Karnataka, who appealed to the British for help here side. Already the French settlers were built a fort is known as a name St. George. Okay, so to be recapture this fort from the French hand, here Anwaruddin give against of war to this French force. At that time Anwaruddin forces were helped by the French enemy force, is called as which one? The Britishers force. Okay, so a small French army, actually the French army in front of the British army is very small in size. The Captain Paradise defeated the strong Indian army under the Muzaffar Khan at Santom, near to the river Adayar. It is in Madras. Okay, children? Yes. See now, as in the size, the French armies are very small. That force army is undertaken by the Captain Paradise, who have fought the war very strongly. In front of them, the Indian army have a lot of strength under the commander of Muhafuz Khan. But here the result is what means in the Battle of Santom, the French were succeeded in this battle. Okay, so here see, this is a battle which is played by the role of French against to the Nawabs of Arcot. And see the Treaty of AIX-LA-CHAPELLE. AIX-LA-CHAPELLE is a place name which is situated in the Holy Roman Empire. Under the rule of Holy Roman Empire, city is there. See about the AIX-LA-CHAPELLE, we are going to have a small definition. That is in 1748, the Treaty of AIX-LA-CHAPELLE, sometimes called the Treaty of Aachen. Actually, the AIX-LA-CHAPELLE is also known as Aachen, Aachen, A-A-A-C-H-E-N, Aachen. Okay, Aachen ended the war of the Austrian succession following a congress assembled on 24th April 1748 at the free imperial city of Aachen. Okay, here the treaty was signed by whom? Signed by the two side of, one is French and another one is British side. The French were signed this AIX-LA-CHAPELLE to Britishers. So these are all happen in out of the continent of Asia. This action were given the reaction at India. Okay, children. So the war was ended by the Treaty of AIX-LA-CHAPELLE, which brought the Austrian War of Succession to that end. Already we have seen about that Austrian War, no, where that is Maria Theresa is helped by the Britishers, and afterwards that is no Frederick II is helped in the side of French forces. At that French force, that is no the Maria Theresa were succeeded. Okay, Maria Theresa was succeeded, who is supported by the Britishers as against to whom? Against to Frederick. Okay, so at that time the French supporter, the French born supporter Frederick II was returned the treaty as a name of AIX-LA-CHAPELLE to the Britishers. So here the French were asked in India to be as lived the place of Indian territory. The Britishers should have to give back the Treaty of AIX-LA-CHAPELLE to the French. Okay, so that the agreement were took place in between of Britishers and Frenchers. Okay, under the term of this treaty, Madras was returned back. So far, the terms and conditions which were took place in between of whom, Britishers and French, the treaty were signed as a name of Madras was returned back to the English. English means whom here? English means Britishers. If suppose the Britishers were given the rights of AIX-LA-CHAPELLE to the Frenchers, mean here in India the French were give back, return back the territories to English. Like this is the agreement where took over in between of this two military forces. Okay, yes, and see, and the French in turn got their territories in North America. Not only there in that Austria, it also the Austrian was succession. The furtherly the French were got the territories which are occupied by the Englishers in North America too. Also, it's gone to the hands of French. Okay, yes. Next to see Second Carnatic War. Until now we have seen about the First Carnatic War. The First Carnatic War is played in between of the native rulers of India who are supported by the French and another supporters of the Britishers. Actually the French and the Britishers were rival in their native continent. Okay children, yes. Now see here the Second Carnatic War. We are going to see about Second Carnatic War. The main causes of this war is the issue of succession in Carnatic and Hyderabad. What the succession? To be gain the throne of Nawab. So Carnatic War, the two issues for succession in two places. One is in Carnatic, another one place is in Hyderabad. Okay children, yes. The Carnatic War were under between of the two categories. One is Nazir Jung, another one is Muzaffar Jung. They two were the claimants to the throne of Hyderabad. To capture the throne of Hyderabad, these two, the claimant means they want to be they want to be as required for their rights. It is the definition about the claimants means a person who believe he or she has the right to have something. Here the right to have something means the something is here the throne rights. Okay, rights to have. Rights means urimai korubavar அப்படினு அர்த்தம் claimants. So in Hyderabad the two rivals, one is Nazir Jung and Muzaffar Jung were fought each other to be claim the throne of Hyderabad. And in the Carnatic, Anwaruddin Khan and Chanda Sahib were two claimants who are all against to be capture the throne of Carnatic. So these two side of wars were held against of their rivals. For this two set of the war, here the supporters were the support rendered by the two powerful forces, military forces. One is, see here, Nazir Jung is supported by Britishers. You take the note, then only it is given a clear idea to you. Nazir Jung is supported by Britishers. The same way, Muzaffar Jung supported by French. See how the foreigners were playing a role of what is known anti-villain roles. How they are against to, if there is enemies, means that automatically the enemies are friend to opposite side of the enemies, isn't no? Like the same way it is here happen. So Nazir Jung is supported by the Britishers, and here to as against to the Muzaffar Jung, he is got support from the French side. Okay, as you go to that Anwaruddin Khan means here Anwaruddin Khan where got support. So one thing have to be notified children, Nazir Jung and Anwaruddin were supported by the Britishers, Chanda Sahib and Muzaffar Jung were supported by the Frenchers. In the war, the battle forces were meet in the battle. Here the supporters were supported by through the strong forces of military from the side of Europeaners. Okay, especially one is French, another one is Britishers. The French supported Chanda Sahib and Muzaffar Jung, while the British supported the other two claimants with the object. The main object of the supporters is what? To be interest and influences. Influence means what? To be a keen interest, to influence, to have whatever they have ordering, no, that they have to be obeyed. Their order is called as influences in the entire Deccan region. They wanted to capture the entire region of India as their own. Here the idea, the tactics of this foreigners, especially the Britishers, want to be as much as more upon to the French. Okay, yes. So children, next, the Battle of AMBUR. Finally, Dupleix. Dupleix means here the Governor General of French. Take the note of this. Dupleix belong to the French military forces, and here who have supported, to whom he supported, to Muzaffar Jung and Chanda Sahib, formed a grand alliances. Dupleix, Chanda Sahib and Muzaffar Jung as formed a gang to be as defeated to whom? To kill Anwaruddin Khan. Okay, yes, because Anwaruddin is opposite to whom? To the Frenchers. So French is giving a help hand to Chanda Sahib, and Muzaffar Jung also rival to Anwaruddin to capture what? To capture the throne, that Nawab, the throne of the Arcab. So far that is known. The Nawab of Carnatic on 3rd August 1749 were met in the Battle of AMBUR. AMBUR is where? AMBUR is in the state of Tamil Nadu, children. Yes. Muhammad Ali, the son of Anwaruddin, fled to Tuticorin. What happened when the three are formed a gang? Who are the three? The Dupleix, French general, and Muzaffar Jung and Chanda Sahib were formed a gang as to against to Anwaruddin Khan, and he was killed in a battle. So they were planned to capture the territory. On 3rd August 1749 at the Battle of AMBUR, the result took places. So after Anwaruddin's son Muhammad Ali, on seeing the result, his father was killed on the battle. So hereafter there is no protection to him. So on hearing the news of his father's death, he fled to Tiruchinoppally. Tiruchinoppally means at present now it is called as Tiruchirappalli. Okay, yes. Chanda Sahib became the Nawab of Carnatic, and later the French were created Chanda Sahib as a Nawab of Carnatic instead, which has took place by the Anwaruddin. Okay, children, as Nawab of Carnatic, and rewarded the French with the grant of 80 villages around the Pondicherry. On seeing the help of Dupleix, here Chanda Sahib got too much of happy. Okay, a lot of thanks to you, General Dupleix, that I have, instead of that, I have rewarded to you by granting 80 villages. See how many villages, who have to give? Our own native rulers, no, they have granted our own land to whom? To the foreigners. From like this, children, our entire lands were occupied through by the foreigners. So as slowly, gradually, the whole regions of our India were fallen into the hands of whom? The foreigners. The foreigners such as, there is a little by little, the foreigners such as, that is Britishers, French, Portuguese and Dutch, etc. Here the French were rewarded, the French government were rewarded by the Indian ruler named Chanda Sahib for what? To give the thanks to the Battle of AMBUR. He presented nearly 80 villages, children, in the state of Pondicherry. Okay, now it is also known as Pondi. So in the Deccan too, the French defeated and killed Nazir Jung and made Muzaffar Jung as a Nizam. As in the side of the south side, Deccan side, means south side of another one region also, French were started to be shine in Deccan states, and they were give the help hand to the enemy of Nazir Jung. So Nazir Jung was killed by Nazir Jang was killed. That actually Nazir Jang is supported by Britishers. So French were given help hand to whom? Muzaffar Jang, to kill his enemy Nazir Jang. Here the French were succeeded and occupied a lot of territories. Okay, and the new Nizam gave ample. He too also. He too means who? Muzaffar Jang also. Like as how here Chanda Sahib has granted the reward, no, like as the same way in the period of Battle of Ambur, like as the same way here in the side of Deccan, the Muzaffar Jang, who have granted a lot of rewards to the Frenches. Okay, as a name of territories also, regions also, the places. Okay, villages were granted to the Frenches, as you just see how they have occupied the land of our nation. He appointed Dupleix as the governor of all the territories in the south of the river Krishna, and saying his victory, Muzaffar Jang, he got too happy so far that he granted the permission to Dupleix. Hereafter, General Dupleix, who belonged to the French military, you can take care of all the territories in South India, which is very close near to river Krishna. Okay, children, yes, and see the Deccan too, the French defeated and killed Nazir Jang and made Muzaffar Jang as Nizam. The same thing has happened. That the same thing has happened. What that result? That is, Muzaffar Jang has rewarded ample. He appointed Dupleix as a governor of territories in that south of river Krishna also. See, the Salabat Jang granted the northern Sarkars. The Salabat Jang granted the northern Sarkars, excluding the Guntur district, to the French. Another one, Salabat Jang, he too also granted the northern Sarkar fully to the French army, French settlers, except the Guntur district. Okay, so Dupleix's power were proved that he is strong in the land of where? In the land of India. So you have an idea that what? That French were took place in a zenith. Zenith means at the top, at a superiority during that time. Okay, children? Yes. Okay. I want to conclude this session here itself, children, and before of going to the completion of to complete the session, I want to share about a small let us know a point regarding the tragedy which has took place during the period of you just see here, during the period of Battle of Plassey. See, yes, Battle of Plassey, which has happened in the period of Siraj-ud-Dawla period. Okay, that is it. Just take the note because it is very important, children. The Black Hole tragedy, 1756 it took places. Black Hole tragedy means there was a small dungeon room in the Fort William in Calcutta. Fort, you mean you know that no, the buildings which are built as the architecture way of architecture of that foreigners. It is built through by whom? Through by the Britishers during that period, when they have got permission from the Nawab of Bengal at that time. Who is the ruler? Who is the Nawab there? Alivardi Khan. Okay, so that the fort is known as Fort William in Calcutta. See now what happened in that fort. There were the troops of Nawab of Bengal, Siraj-ud-Dawla. They captured nearly 146 British prisoners. Okay, in the battle. Okay, this battle is against to whom? Against to the Bengal and afterwards to the Britishers. No, so for here the Britishers were captured as a prisoner through from the side of Siraj-ud-Dawla forces, and they were kept on the prison as the place in the dungeon room of Fort William in Calcutta for one night. That is next day morning. What happened? No, when the door was open, nearly 123 of the prisoners out of 146 prisoners, 123 of the prisoners were found as dead bodies. Okay, so because why this has happened? Because of suffocation. Suffocation means here non-availability of oxygen. Okay, so for the people were turned as to be a dead. Suffocation means SUFFOCETIY. Suffocation means in Tamil the meaning in Tamil it is called as moochitanaral. Do you hear about that? Yes, struggling for breathe easy either because of insufficient oxygen or this situation make them to the insufficient oxygen is given the result as what? Choked to death. It taken to death, it give the result of death. Okay children, so this is the point children I want to share with you. So that's all. We are going to be end our lesson from here children. Okay, we will see this the Battle of Orchard in next session. Thank you children, take care, do your work properly.